is Craig, Whisper and Storyteller here. I hope you are well. So we are here on January the 5th, and this is my first ASMR video since I think it was mid-December. So I've had a few weeks break from YouTube. By the way, I hope you all had fantastic Christmases. So all the very best for 2025 to everybody out there. And I wish you a fantastic, joyful, prosperous and peaceful 2025 for everybody. So it's weird because I haven't even been in this room for the last 4 weeks or so. It's been completely off bounds for a number of reasons, and it feels kind of nice to be back, sitting with all the lights on and putting the heating on and giving it a bit of a tidy. I've rearranged a few things in the room. As you probably notice, if you look back on videos, you'll see things kind of moving around the room. Yeah, but this is just me checking in to say hello and giving a bit of a ramble around how Christmas went for me. And of course, a great way to check in with you to see how you were doing. So, first thing is first, Christmas. So I thought maybe we'll have a look back on December and just see how it went. And I'm gonna whisper this video. Yeah, let's have a look back to see how things have been going. I did a series of magazine flips, show and tells, which was great, by the way. I really enjoyed doing that. I'm thinking of maybe looking at more magazines and kind of talking as we flip through the pages, kind of thing. So anyway, the week leading up to Christmas, I had my single released, Let's Raise a Glass to Christmas Past, and it has far surpassed any of my expectations. And I want to thank you all for streaming, for sharing, for listening to the song, and sharing with your friends and family. The money, as I mentioned in the last video, was for cancer research. And as always with Spotify and some of these streaming platforms, they won't pay out until it's in excess of 1,000 streams. And now I'm not quite sure how Spotify works, but it is in excess of 1,000 streams. I just need to kind of work out what it's generated so I can donate it to the charity. But there's also something like it doesn't start to kick in till so many months after the upload. I'm not sure whether there's a lot of kind of barriers, if you like, before they pay out. But the money is not mine, the money is for Cancer Research UK. But I just wanted to mention it to say thank you to everybody for everything you've done to support this song release. And in the new year I enjoyed it so much that I am going to record another bunch of new material in 2025 with Steve Coates, the the multi-talented musician that supported me with Let's Raise a Glass. So I've got a whole bunch of songs. I write songs all the time. I can be walking around in the street and I'll get something in my head, and I've seen me sometimes record, with my phone, a lyric or humming a melody or a bridge or a chorus. That's kind of how songwriting works for me. It usually comes from an idea, and it's usually melody driven. So I'm going to be recording some original songs, and I can't wait to get stuck into that. That is one of my big focuses for 2025, is to really do the things that resonate, with me, and I can't wait to get stuck into that. So at the minute I've got this big board above me, and I write kind of all of my ideas on there. It's a good job you can't see it because it's a real mind map. And I've got the lists of all these songs that have been floating around in the ethos for the last, I don't know how many years. But tonight, this year, is the year I'm going to make an album. Now, I've made one album before, back in 2000, and it had one cover on, and this was way before the internet is what it is today, and YouTube and sharing and streaming. So this was just, hard copy of CDs that you try to kind of get out, and I'd send it to radio stations, and it was really hard work back then. But now you have got control of how you market your own material, and you can get it out there. And this is not about making money, or it's not about getting as many people to buy a song or whatever. That's all lovely. That's really nice things to happen. But it's more for self-expression, I think. And I've just got that creative desire to do these kind of things. It's food for the soul. And I'm going to do it. I am going to do it. So there you go, there's a New Year's resolution, and I haven't even covered Christmas yet. So let's rewind back to Christmas. So I had a family bereavement in early December, and there was a family gathering for the funeral, and it was really sad. It was really sad. It was a very sad end to the year. Just a lovely relative who has struggled with dementia. But we picked up an illness on the train coming back, some kind of viral, which kind of made you give you a bad chest and give you aches and pains and fever. So, like wildfire, the whole family have come down with this awful flu illness. And I went to work one Monday. Well, went to work, I logged on the kitchen table, and I genuinely felt as if I was having an out-of-body experience. My temperature was sky high. I couldn't even string a sentence together. I just felt so ill. I just wanted to crawl under the duvet and go to sleep. And my manager, bless her, did say, "Log off, Craig. Forget everything. Just go and log off." And I did. I handed over all my work projects that I was working on, and I just had to shut down. And I went upstairs. This was the Monday leading up to Christmas. And I didn't get out of bed for 2 days. Now, that is something I haven't done even in the height of COVID. See, COVID for me, back in 2021 or whenever it is that I had it, it wasn't a big deal. But this whatever this was, absolutely floored me. And I was just so tired, so listless. I had very poor appetite for the last few weeks, and I couldn't shake it off. Now, I worked all over Christmas, so I had Christmas Day off, Boxing Day, which isn't celebrated around different countries, but the UK do observe Boxing Day, which is the 26th of December. So I had that day off. That is a bank holiday in the United Kingdom. And then I had New Year's Day, and obviously weekends, but I was kind of in work, off work, in for a couple of days, then it was the weekend. So it's a really bizarre time, or crimp or limbo as we call it here, where you don't know what day it is, there's nobody in work, it's so quiet and the time just drags. But you know what, I did pull myself together after a few days, and then I just battled on. And Christmas itself, I usually go to the pub every Christmas Eve and see some friends and have a good drink. This year, I didn't feel like doing that. I was just still really poorly, so I had a very, very low-key Christmas. I hosted this year. If you remember me telling you about hosting, it couldn't have come at a worse year, to be honest, because I was really ill. Now, my mother is recovering from a major operation. Bless her, she offered to support me with preparing the food and peeling the vegetables and cooking the meat. Cut a long story short, we got there in the end. We managed to get everything cooked before my sisters, the kids arrived, etc. Both families. And we realised at the very last hurdle that we'd forgot to cook the pigs in blankets, which is sausages wrapped in bacon, a bit of a trimming, a sideline, which is an essential part of a Christmas dinner. So we had to action station and cook these pigs in blankets. And yeah, but you know what? I don't think you feel as stressed when you have your own family around you. It's kind of those warts and all experiences. We're all in it together. There's no airs and graces, it doesn't matter. But if you're hosting for somebody else who is outside of your family, that's when it can get a little bit stressful, because you want to impress, yeah, you want everything to be perfect. You want everyone to think, wow, isn't this amazing? But what strikes me about Christmas is our desire for perfection, everything to be amazing, everything to be the fairy tale. It never quite gets there, does it? How about you? What's your thoughts on Christmas? Because I had a good chat about this with somebody in the days afterwards, and I said, why is it always never quite what you want to achieve? So it's either you want to recreate your childhood, that's a big thing, nostalgia and tradition, family tradition, but secondly, to create the fairy tale, as I said. And the fairy tale sometimes is just out of reach. So maybe just accepting the warts and all, and accepting that things go wrong, is a good Christmas. I'm very eager to find out how your Christmas went. Did you have the family around? Did you host or did you visit? Visiting is always nice because you can come and go as and when you want. One thing that I watched on TV over Christmas was Gavin and Stacey Now, I'm not sure how this has played around the world, but this is kind of what made James Corden a household name. It is a sitcom based around a couple. One is English, who is played by Matthew Horn, and the female, Stacey, is Welsh, and she lives on Barry Island in Wales. So really it's a bit of a culture clash between these two crazy families they have. Let's argue that Gavin and Stacey are probably the most boring characters in the show. It's their eccentric family and friends that really steal the limelight. James Corden is amazing in this show. It was career defining, and he plays Smithy, who is the hapless best friend of Gavin, and he's just a big kid, really, loves the attention. And Ruth Jones is just absolutely amazing as Nessa. I'd be very interested to know how Gavin and Stacey fares around the world, because it's very UK-centric, with the accent, with the culture. I'm just really intrigued how it fares internationally. Have you seen Gavin and Stacey? But for me, I never watched it when it first aired. In fact, I was never the biggest James Corden fan, just because of him taking over every interview that he's involved with. I mean, he's a very passionate guy, very lively. But something compelled me to watch it from the very start and stream it. And, I think it's a charming show, and it's given me an appreciation of James Corden and his talent. So I take back everything I ever said about him. I think he is a very super clever, talented guy, a talented writer, a talented performer, and I also think that Ruth Jones is absolutely fabulous, or tidy, as she would say. New Year came along, and by that time I was starting to feel a little bit better. We were invited to our good friend and neighbour, his sister, who lives at the top of our street. Now we have Halo the dog, so we left him with our neighbour, our other neighbour. We've got a really good community spirit here. And off we went to the top of the street, and we had a few drinks. My first real drinks of the whole festive period was New Year's Eve. I think I had 4 drinks, and it was mainly a family affair, and we know the family really well, but it was nice and relaxed, and we had the VR headset. So my neighbour bought the Meta Quest, which is is it Facebook that kind of developed it, but it's really good. I had a go at it, and I was playing the drums. I was on the Titanic, and the water levels were rising. You can even go to the cinema and watch something on a big screen as if you're in the cinema, and other people can virtually join you for the showing. It's come a long way, because I did try out the PlayStation VR a couple of years back, and it was great, but it was very cumbersome with all of the wires and the weight of it, and you felt restricted. But this MetaQuest 3, you've got free range, you can walk around, it's completely Bluetooth. A very, very, very clever piece of kit. Have you tried the MetaQuest 3? What is your thoughts? But that was kind of doing the rounds on New Year's Eve in the gathering that I was at. But I was back home for 10 p.m. on the sofa, still not feeling 100%, but a lot better. And the dog on my knee, and I just drifted off, and I before midnight. And Sophie Ellis-Bextor, who is a singer, was kind of bringing in the new year with a concert that she had filmed. And yeah, by 1 a.m. I was in bed. So a very, very low-key New Year. Very low-key. And then I was back to work. Now the one thing I've done over Christmas, which is something, because bearing in mind I've been ill, so I haven't done the rounds of going to houses, I haven't been out Christmas shopping, everything was done online. So the one outing I had this year was yesterday, and I went to London, and I saw a pantomime on the Palladium. Now the Palladium pantomime is arguably the biggest production in the whole country, and it's an all-star cast. So these are big UK celebrities. We had Jane MacDonald, who is a singer who rose to prominence due to a reality TV show called The Cruise. We had Julian Clary, who is this flamboyant comedian who played Robin Hood. We had somebody who was in Big Brother, a US-based lady who is a West End star. I don't remember her name, but she was fantastic. She was the Sheriff of Nottingham. And yeah, even James Corden's appeared on this. So they have one celebrity guest who appears at the end of each show as the king or the queen. And apparently James Corden was one of the special guests not so long ago. But the one I was at yesterday was an impressionist, John somebody, I can't remember his surname, but he did an impersonation of Donald Trump, a Donald Trump speech. It was really good. But pantomimes, do you get pantomimes where you are? They are a British tradition, and it is a very, very odd thing for anyone overseas to see, because men dress as women, women dress as men. There's a lot of innuendos in there. It's very saucy, carry-on style humour, and it's also a traditional fairy tale with kind of a lot of innuendos laden all the way through it, but it usually goes over the kids' heads, and the adults have a good chuckle. And that's the making of a good pantomime, is quality innuendos that will not offend anybody who doesn't read into them, which is usually kids, to be honest. So there we go, we're right up to date. So not a great deal to report in my world, just through being ill, but the pantomime in the Palladium in London was the only kind of big thing that I've done. New Year's resolutions. Now, I haven't really made any this year, and I normally do, but I've just decided to be kinder to myself, to get some more songs recorded, and to carry on as normal, really. My job that I took on last year, that is a role I need to kind of grow into a little bit more, because there's been a lot of changes happening. So I just need to upskill myself with various things that is coming my way and part of my remit. But I'm enjoying it. I'm in good company. I've got amazing colleagues, and I feel supported. Now, one thing I've booked for February is an escape room. These are puzzles that you get to solve and get out of a room, basically. So there's a lot of different rooms in Newcastle, the city nearby where I live, and all different themes and different setups. So we're doing this with a few friends, but I will report how that goes in February Ramble. Have you ever done an escape room? They're becoming increasingly popular, and it's a great way to connect with a few friends or a team to solve a puzzle, basically. February also sees my anniversary, my channel anniversary. I've been here for 14 years. So Whispering Storyteller is 14 years old on February the 11th. So it would be good to get your thoughts on how we can celebrate that. I was thinking about looking at the first ever video I did and kind of remaking it almost. Now the first ever video I did was a book reading, and I think I've already redone it anyway. It was a Ladybird book, but I can do that just to honour my first ever video upload. I could remake it. Or remake any other video from my past. It's also 10 years this year since I took a break from YouTube for a few years. That is a 10-year anniversary, and I didn't return till 2020. So I took a 6-year hiatus. But all thoughts and suggestions are welcome, and we'll make a decision on what we do for that date. Anyway, enough from me. I'm going to sign off for this week, but again, thank you so much for standing by me and continuing to watch this channel. It's a very low-key channel, I know, but it's all about just catching up, talking, and sharing life experiences. So once again, happy 2025, and I will see you again very soon. Take care.